I bet on myself. Yeah, I bet on myself.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the one, the only designated Spittaz. It is I, and I am him, Pete Simonetti, with the grandma. The fuck are you doing here?
You called me.
Oh, that's right, I did. I know you were. I know you were busy with Bigfoot, so give him my regards. But guys, I just want to clear the spaces here, bro. I gotta clear the space over here.
I'm coming in hot, Pete.
This guy is pissed. This guy is pissed. I'm telling you guys right now. He's red. Look at him. He's red right now. He's hot. He's shaking over there. He's gonna go bananas today. Clear the decks.
Absolutely.
And I took him away from Bigfoot, so I don't know if he's gonna be really happy with me today too. So we're gonna try our best.
So I got it. Everybody knows I'm a prospect guy, right?
Oh shit, you're going in already?
Oh yeah, I'm getting right to it. Forget it all.
Go ahead.
I'm the prospect guy.
That's what you are, yeah.
Yeah. Hug prospects and all that bullshit.
Yeah. Oh.
Trade them all. Pete, did I break you?
Did I just hear what I thought I heard?
Trade all those little sons of bitches.
My God. Well, somebody clip that because let me tell you, when some guys get traded, then I'm going to just play that clip right there. Trade all them sons of bitches. That's exactly what I'm going to play. Please do. Wow. We're going to get into this more. So let's.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Kev Boogie says DJ on the thumbnail trying to see how many bugs he killed. And there's probably quite a few of them over there. Anthony Medina, Brian Gonzalez says shit just got real.
Yeah, I did.
Izzy, Charlie, what is up, everybody? Jose Descato, Seco, what up, what up? Damian Lee, A. Becker, Kyle Malay. Everybody, welcome and welcome and welcome again to the designated Spittaz. Look, guys, Dane opened a show hot, so we're really going to get right into this today. Look, the time is coming, right? Today is the 21st of July. 9 more days until deadline day, and things are not looking good for the New York Yankees right now. Let's just be honest with each other. You look at where the Yankees are in the division, they fall in the 2 games back, and I know everybody could see that and go, all right, I mean, that's still good positioning right now, right? But the Yankees have lost. Listen to this, Dane. You wanna get mad? I'm going to get mad with you.
All right.
The Yankees have lost 21 of their last 31 games.
Yep.
I mean, and then you hear, and this is why people sometimes don't understand, oh, you're negative and this and that. Why should I be overly positive or sit there and be happy when this is happening to the Yankees and you got guys like Nestor Cortez after games going, well, I look around the league and kind of see where we are, and we're kind of in a good spot. We're still in a good spot.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and we're still in a good spot. Okay.
Well, that's one thing I will say. Baltimore is doing us a whole lot of favors by not winning either. The division is still in reach.
For a while, too.
Right. I think they've won 4 more games over the same 30-game stretch as we have.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that, yep.
There's not a dominant team in the American League. There's just not.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to make big moves at the deadline.
Okay.
So this is still winnable, but you have to go and make those moves.
So let's look at a couple of things. I think Austin Wells is the Yankees catcher.
Absolutely.
Today, he threw out 2 base runners, and he also picked a guy off.
Yep.
So he did his best to show off his arm today. And were some of the throws great? No. Some of them were very good. And I think what he showed today is that if a team like Tampa is going to come here, think they could run on me, they're not going to be able to. I could throw guys out. He did that. That was very impressive today to see him able to do something like that. First base, Ben Rice is there. Rizzo's on the way back. Ben Rice is struggling now. He's hit a little area here where I think he might be hitting. I think he's hitting like 211 right now, something like that. Right now. But again, it's a short period of time. The one thing about Major League Baseball at this level is advanced scouting is going to get to you very quickly. If there's certain things that they pick up on that you can't hit, you're going to have to adjust and make those adjustments. Ben Rice has more than enough time to make those adjustments. This is the first, whatever many at-bats he got, he'll go about his business. Second base, to me, time has come. The time has come. I mean, we got to give up this idea that we're holding on to Gleyber Torres. For what exactly? What are we holding on to Gleyber Torres for at this point?
I have absolutely no idea. The thing with Gleyber is he doesn't perform well under pressure. He's been under pressure all year because of his contract. There's nothing left, and you can't take a chance on keep running him out there every single day when he's making bonehead plays and not really contributing. The bat's been a little bit better lately, but it's not good enough where you say, I have confidence in that guy to go out and be my second baseman and be my 5th, 6th, 7th hitter in the playoffs. He's got to go.
I mean, I'll even, from what you said, I'll even push a little back on that. He's been a good performer for the Yankees in the postseason. I just make it quite simple. I just think Gleyber Torres sucks this year. I mean, I'll just be about as honest as I can be by being fair as I can be. Gleyber Torres is a guy that last year I really liked. I sat there and I said, he's playing a good defense. He's doing this. He's hitting the ball well. But Gleyber Torres this year, I think you could call a spade here. I think he sucks. And I don't know how any other way to say it. Here's a guy, again, that won me over last year. When I really watched him and said, good, he's finally looking like the guy that I thought he could look like. And Francis said it me and Francis agreed on this in the first nights at the roundtable where we sat there and said, I really think Gleyber Torres is going to be a guy that's going to have a monster year. And he's going to go off and get $100+ million. He'll be lucky if he gets $1.25 this offseason from whoever the hell wants to give it to him. It's a mess right now for him.
It's a nightmare. He was looking at it. If he has the same season this year as he did last year, he's looking at a deal 6, 150, 7, 175.
Oh, 100%.
Now, if he gets the qualifying offer, I would be absolutely blown away shocked.
I'd be scared to give it to him.
Oh, hell yeah, because he'd take it.
Yeah, you can't give him the way he's played, you can't give him a qualify. What is it, $19 million?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to give Gleyber Torres $19 million? Yeah,
hell
okay.
No.
Yeah, I cut my pinkies off before I do that. I tell you right now. But that's a major problem for the New York Yankees. Shortstop, it's Volpes. We understand that. Third base, the time is up again. Time has come today. It is time to move on from Mr. Pesticides himself. The guy kills more bugs than any pesticide you can find in the market.
You got to shoot. You got to shoot DJ to the center of the sun. I know he's a nice guy, but
we love DJ. We have nothing against DJ LeMay. He's terrible. He sucks.
Get him out of here.
At this point of his career,
you're gonna pay him that money either way.
Exactly. That's my debate on that.
So you're either going to pay for the roster spot or you're going to pay for him. And I'd rather pay him to go away and bring up a guy like Jorbert Vivas, who they didn't give a chance to when he was up here. But I'm telling you, that kid can swing a bat.
And that's my problem here. And because I've been getting, and look, I'd say this to everybody all the time. If you debate respectedly here and you don't, attack or this and that, or you're not trolling or not spamming or none of that baloney, I'm more than willing to debate with anybody. And this chat that loves NYYU, they've come at me a lot, Dane, when I sit there and I go, because look, here's always been my opinion of this. It's not that crazy to fix the Yankees offense. We're not sitting there going, you got to make 4 big trades. We're not sitting there saying that. if the Yankees went out there, and we're going to talk about potential options, but let's say they traded for a third baseman. They somehow, in the same mindset here, trade Gleyber Torres, and Yorbit Vivas is their second baseman. Well, in my opinion, I mean, can it really be that worse? I guess it could get worse, but is it really going to be? How likely is it that you got a guy that Gleyber Torres hitting 229 with an OPS of 647, and then a guy like DJ LeMay who barely got a 400 OPS? How do you get much? How can you get much worse than that?
You can't. Realistically, you can't. DJ's been one of the worst players in Major League Baseball to this point. His bat speed is literally the second slowest in all of Major League Baseball.
Which is not age, by the way. That's age.
Yeah, 100% it's age. But you can't keep running that out there. People talked about Josh Donaldson last year. They got rid of A-Rod. You know, the time has come for DJ to go.
No question about it, man. And, you know, I know a lot of people come out there and they say, well, you know, the Yankees are paying this guy and Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman are going to do it. Well, guys, look, when you are the New York Yankees, it makes it even easier for you to do that. It's easier for the Yankees to say, you know what, we're going to, and look, if you're giving it to, and we're going to, you know what, let's just jump into some of the names that are available out there. I think that makes the most sense. Because we believe that if anybody took over second base, I mean, there are options out there. Jonathan India being a name that's available. Of course, a Luis Rengifo who could play second, who could play third base. But if you're looking at second base, you can at least say, well, in our system, we do have a guy that's on the 40-man roster that, mind you, at the complex just this offseason while it was spring training, I talked to a scout for the Giants who said he believes that Vivas is going to be the Yankee second baseman next year. This was in spring training. He goes, that's why they made that trade. They like this guy a lot. That's why they went about it that way. Now, when you look at everything, you look back toward third base. We know Isaac Paredes could potentially be available. Extreme pull hitter. Extremely pull. I don't know if he is the most attractive guy that's available out there. Jonathan India is available. Luis Rengifo, I mentioned. Maybe there's some other names that come around that nobody's talking about. But what would you be looking at third base for the Yankees? Who do you think is a good fit?
I think Luis Rengifo is the guy to go get. He solves two problems. He fixes your third base problem, and he gives you a leadoff hitter. You can't keep running Ben Rice out at leadoff and expect that lineup to click.
He's also a switch hitter, too, which helps.
Right.
Leadoff.
Absolutely. So he's got some speed. The defensive metrics aren't great, but you can live with that.
Agreed. With the amount of horrible offense you've gotten this year, I think you could take a little away from defense.
Right. And he's not going to cost a lot. It might cost you a Will Warren. It might cost you a Chase Hampton. It might cost you a Brock Selvage. Would it suck to lose some of those guys? Yeah.
You would do Selvage for him?
I would try really hard not to, but if it came down to it, yeah.
Wow. This is a different Dane. What the fuck happened to you? This is the invasion of the body snatches. Take your mask off, damn it. Take it off, you son of a bitch.
I told you I was hot. I told you I was pissed off.
Well, you're the sex symbol of NYU. You're going to be hot. What do you want us to do? What do you want me to do over here? We got a super chat over here from my good friend Fast Eddie. He goes, don't forget Volpe and Verdugo both batting 150 over the last month. We're going to talk about that too. We haven't got to the outfield yet, but no, man. I tell you what, Dane, I'm right there with you, man. Again, you know more about the prospects than I do. There's a few names that I like a lot that I would try to avoid, dealing. I think Rengifo makes a lot of sense, but I want to pull this up on the screen here. And I want to ask you, we know one thing about the Yankees, especially when it comes to trades. They are analytical when it comes to that area and that aspect of things. Luis Rengifo is not an analytic guy's dream. He's not the guy you look at based off the numbers and the analytics and you go, man, I like him. But there is something here, Dane, that I've been talking about for a long time. when a batter like a Luis Rengifo, there's a couple of things you look at, and it typically, you know, if he's not a superstar player, it typically averages out. Let me explain to you this, and I think, Dane, you already know what I'm talking about here. Luis Rengifo is hitting 315. He doesn't strike out. He doesn't strike out at all. The guy puts the ball in play.
Absolutely.
When you're a hitter that does that, your exit velos aren't going to be through the roof. Your hard hit contact is not going to be through the roof. Again, you look at a lot of the guys that aren't superstars, that aren't Aaron Judges, that aren't Shohei Ohtani's, that aren't Juan Soto's. You look at a lot of those guys, and even Soto's not a big strikeout guy, but he's Juan Soto. But you look at Luis Arraez, guys that hit for high averages, don't strike out a lot, put the ball in play to make something happen. They're not always going to have these unbelievable analytic numbers where you go, well, he has a great barrel percentage. He has a hard hit rate that's really high. He has great exit velos. You're not going to see that all the time with a guy like that. So is that something you think the Yankees would take into consideration?
Well, you brought up the kid from San Diego, the
Arraez?
Yes.
Yeah.
Rengifo trains with his coach.
Correct.
That's who his hitting coach is. So he doesn't have the exit velocity. Neither of them do. Their focus is contact.
Yep.
So when you need a table setter, you need a contact guy who doesn't strike out. That's a need. The Yankees need to realize that and take that into account.
By the way, I just said to myself, let me double check this and look this up, right? So this year, Luis Arraez is hitting 310. Do you know what his barrel percentage is?
No.
1. His hard hit percentage is 3. It's about as low could possibly go. And it's exactly what you just said. It's because they train just to put the ball in play, to make contact. And, you know, I heard somebody recently come out and they said, and guys, we've got over 240 in here. Do me a favor, hit that like button for us if you have not. I've heard somebody come out recently and go, yeah, but see, a lot of you guys wanted more contact. And this is what you're going to get. You're going to get more double plays and you're going to get this and that because you've gone away from the big power threats and guys of that nature. But that's not necessarily true because the guys that are putting the ball in play on this team have no speed also on top of that. Gleyber Torres is not a fast runner. DJ LeMahieu is about as slow as it gets. Alex Verdugo is not an above-average runner. So there's a lot there that you're looking at and go, yeah, they put the ball in play, but the way the order is also constructed, if there's guys on base for a lot of these guys on this team, you're set up for easy double plays.
100%. And there's a fix for that. You put Rengifo at leadoff. You have Soto batting second. You have Judge batting third. You put Jason Dominguez fourth. And you hit Giancarlo Stanton fifth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a major difference of this ball club. We got a super chat here from the one, the only, DJ Steelio. Steelio says, Dane and Simonetti, the dynamic duo we love. There it is, the dynamic duo we all love, okay? But, so agreed about Luis Rengifo. I like him a lot. Again, Isaac Paredes is a guy who I do like. I just feel like it's not as likely. I think Yandy Diaz would be much more likely than Isaac Paredes would be for the Yankees if they were serious about trading for a player. Yandy Diaz is an analytic dream when you see him and you see the way he plays and you look at his numbers. You could pencil a guy like Yandy in with this club and go, damn, that's going to be solid. He's not a slow runner, not the greatest defender, but good power, smacks the ball, hits the ball hard. There's a lot of good there that comes from Yandy Diaz. They also got some other guys in there. Garrett Clevenger, I think, would be an amazing get as the left-handed side lefty reliever.
Yes.
Pete Fairbanks could be a guy, too, that can make a little bit of sense. But I think when it comes to righty relievers, I still don't understand what the hell is going on with Jack Neely. I don't understand it.
I don't
What
either.
is it? What is it? Is there something that he does bad that we're missing?
No. But he hasn't pitched in about 10 days, to my knowledge, unless he pitched today. Yeah.
Huh.
He was out since just before the break. But as soon as he's back, he's the guy that absolutely has to be in that bullpen. He's got upper 90 stuff from a very, very difficult release point to pick up. And what I mean by that is he releases the ball very, very high. And at
Yeah.
6'8", it looks like it's coming straight down a hill. And guys have trouble hitting him. And he's got a great slider. He's got a very serviceable changeup. And as Carlos always says, he could be a closer long term for this team.
Yep. No doubt about it. Efros pitched today, so he Neely did not pitch today. Efros pitched today, and our good friend Chasen Shreve was down there, struck out 2 batters in an inning. Okay, we're gonna get a little Chasen Shreve action. And by the way, we do have Carlos in the chat. Carlos, somebody got Dane because he's trading the whole system.
I'm gonna start getting angry text messages in a minute.
Rightfully so. Okay, you're supposed to be here protecting these prospects and making me look like the nut job, and now you're looking like the nut job trading everybody over here. So I don't know what to do. But do we question for you on this, because I know everybody's everybody's going bananas over Verdugo right now, and rightfully so. Alex Verdugo been an absolute mess for the New York Yankees. What's going on with Jason Dominguez? I know we've seen him running. I know they kind of showed him out there working out in Tampa. Do we have any type of update that this is going to be a late August thing? Is it a September thing? Do we even know? Does he come back this year?
We're looking at September from everything that I've been able to gather.
Wow. Holy shit. So I got a maybe a crazier question here than anything else. Do the Yankees trade for an outfielder?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
If there's no chance of Dominguez coming back?
Well, if there's no chance.
September. Yeah, you're saying September, so potentially.
I think you'll see a lot of Judge in left field, and you put Grisham in center field, and you put Soto in right field. When G comes back, you go with the better defense in center field with Grisham. You know, if you're not going to have a bat, which Verdugo doesn't right now, you go with the better defender. And Grisham has been better at the plate of late.
I just find it very, very interesting to think of what they can do. As Carlos says, he's thinking late August for Dominguez,
Jason.
That's kind of what I thought too. I thought it'd be mid to late August for him to come back. We also left one of the names out. We'll look at second base here too. Jonathan India and Jazz Chisholm. Now I've heard not the greatest things in the planet about Jazz Chisholm. We do know that Rachel Balkovic knows this system very, very well. So it does feel like a logical trade partner for the Yankees, because she knows us well. And you're always going to feel more comfortable trading with players that you already know, or you know the talent levels. Maybe some players you thought were great, the Yankees didn't think were great, that you feel you can change in your system. Jazz Chisholm has caught on a bit with the Yankees. There's been multiple conversations, so to say, or attachments from various reporters when it comes to Jazz Chisholm. Now, from what I get, I don't think he would be a good fit for the Yankees when it comes to the personality. From what I've heard about Chisholm, I don't think it makes the most sense in the world. Jonathan India, I'm going to be about as real can get for you. I do not know enough about him to sit there and say, let's bring him in. Well, what it would take. I don't know enough about Jonathan India to even talk on him. I really don't.
There's a trade going around out there, Nestor Cortez for Jonathan India. They're about the same kind of value, and maybe you make that trade. If you can trade Nestor, who has not looked good of late, you have Clark Schmidt coming back, so that fills that rotation spot. Maybe that's something you consider. He's another guy who you could pencil in at that leadoff spot and be a whole lot better than where they are right now.
Yeah, and Jonathan India, I feel like Jonathan India still has like 2 or 3 years of control. They would do that just for Nestor?
I think you would probably have to throw in a Zach Messenger or a Bailey Dees or a Jesus Sanchez, something like that. You might have to add 1 or 2 additional small pieces.
Yeah, I
But
figured it would probably be a little more than that because I don't know how much time. What does Nestor's control look like? But I do know I think India's control is all the way till 2026. He's a free agent or 2027. It's one of
I'm
those.
not
So he has a couple of years.
right. But if you send Nestor to the American League or a National League, he's a left-hander and he still has value there. He can get
True.
outs and they can shop him again this winter or next deadline and get a different return. It's a
Yeah.
very similar deal, a Monty for Bader kind of thing.
Let me double check and just see on Jonathan India real quick. So he would be a free agent in 2027. So you would have him for 25, 26. Oh, so 2.5 years
Right.
is basically what you would still have Jonathan India for. I think for that control, yeah, I think if they did get Nestor Cortez, you're probably looking at a multiple more pieces added to that one to try to get it. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Yankees move on from Gleyber Torres. Brian Cashman kind of said that there could be some surprising moves or they might make some moves that, maybe aren't as expected. I wouldn't be shocked one bit. And I think according to Scott Horwitz today in the chat, I don't know how legit this is, but apparently Ozzy Albies is out.
He's
And
out
injured.
for the next, probably this season.
Broken hand or something like that?
Something like that.
Some sort of fracture?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to the Braves?
Maybe they feel like they can turn him around. Think about what they did a couple years ago when they brought in all those outfielders and they weren't having great seasons and they ended up having great postseason runs for him. Maybe.
I was just gonna say what I would do if I'm the Yankees with Gleyber Torres at this point. I would. Robert says the Braves have replacements, so if that's the case, but any team that is interested in Gleyber Torres, in my opinion, I would literally just say, hey, you take that money.
Here you go.
I really don't give a poot. Yeah, I really don't give a poot what we get back in that regard because I think we still have enough. We have somebody that can replace the spot in our organization in Yorbeat Vivas. He could do that. But then I would also just sit back and go, well, we got enough players in our pool here that we can make a trade, even if we need to get a new second baseman, a new third baseman, whatever it might be. We got options there. So it really would have hurt us just to get rid of that salary. That's what I would look to do when it comes to Gleyber. The outfield and all that, I think that is, like you said, I'm right there with you. I think it comes down to getting Jason Dominguez back and then figuring everything else out from there. But looking at the reliever side, I still feel like a lefty reliever has to come from outside this organization. When it comes to the righties, Efros is probably going to be up for the Mets series, you would assume. If not, shortly after that. We already talked about Neely. You still got Ron Marinaccio down there. You still got Yoendrys Gomez, who is back up right now. Don't know.
And I really like
really
him.
with him.
I like Yoendrys Gomez in a bullpen role, in a 1 to 2 inning role. He's thrived.
Yeah, I like him there too. I don't like the long relief, the 3-4 innings trying to get out of him. You give me 1 or 2, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But overall, looking at that, and then you go into more rumors that have started today, and everybody get used to these because you're probably going to get one every single day now until deadline day, and we're live for 24 hours that day. So just get ready for it because you're going to hear it every single day. That is just the way the Major League trade deadline works. Sometimes, reporters just also need to write something. So they just kind of make something up over there.
Throw against the wall, see what sticks.
100%. So Bob Nightingale comes out today. And Bob Nightingale says that the New York Yankees are very, very willing to include Spencer Jones in a deal for Garrett Crochet or Crochet, whatever the hell his name is, and or Tariq Skubal. Now, I don't think any team's getting Skubal besides the Orioles.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I think the Orioles are the only team that would really be able to knock the socks off of the Tigers to land them because at the end of the day, let's get real here for a second. If you're looking at organizations and let's say Baltimore says you could have 1 or 2 of Kerstead, Cowser, Westberg, which every time I say it to North, they go, no, they can't trade Westberg. And I'm saying, well, if you want that guy, you're probably gonna have to. I mean, yeah, you're probably
Jackson
gonna have to, or Holiday,
and Sam
something along those
Basallo.
lines. Correct, like something along those lines. You're gonna have like a mix of 3 or 4 of those guys to be able to get the Tigers to say, shit, we necessarily didn't want to do it, but you kind of forced our hand, because how do we say no to that? Like, we got to accept that. The Yankees
Right.
can't do that unless the Yankees sit back and it's like, hey, we'll give you, Volpe, Jones, Dominguez, and this pitching prospect. It's like, that's just too unrealistic for the Yankees. It's not going to be Spencer Jones. They're not going to go, oh, Spencer Jones is a great player. Forget about it. We'll do that. I don't see that happening. They're going to want a shit ton for him. But when it comes to the White Sox, that I could see as being a potential real possibility. And you like that. You like that deal. You're a fan of Garrett.
I am a big fan of Crochet. Now, it's going to cost Chase Hampton, Spencer Jones, and probably another piece. But we know that the White Sox really like Spencer Jones and Chase Hampton because they tried to trade for him in the Dylan Cease deal.
Correct.
The difference between Cease and Crochet is that Crochet has more control. You have him for 3.5 years, which is 4 playoff runs.
Yep. He
is on an innings limit, but he also serves a dual purpose. You can put him in the back of that bullpen, and he can also become if you need him to close, he can close in the playoffs. And then you have 3 years of him, Luis Gil, Garrett Cole, and whatever else you do with the rest of the rotation. I think he and Gil for the next 3 years would be absolutely dynamic at the front of that rotation.
And I mean, you look at the overall stuff right here, that's wild. That's a serial killer right there. I mean, you look at all that red, that's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
I mean, this guy obviously has ace-like stuff. We know that. You could tell by the numbers. 107 innings, 50 strikeouts. My only concern again with him is, how long is he going to go this year? It's the first year he's starting at this level. He's been awesome, but you're looking at a guy that in 2021, and I don't know what he did in the minor leagues these years, so I don't have that in front of me.
He didn't. He went straight to the major leagues.
Straight to the major leagues. All right, so 54 innings in 2021. Didn't pitch in 2022. 2023, he threw 12 and 2/3 innings, and this year he's thrown 107 innings. So it feels like we're almost looking at the same thing as like we've seen with Louis Hill.
It's the exact same thing.
It's the exact same thing, right? So what would the Yankees do with that? Would they simply say, well, I guess the rest of the year you're going to be able to be our dominating lefty out the bullpen?
That's what I would do.
And I guess the way you will look at this deal is, well, these guys will shorten games for us. One, we know that. And next year, we already know we got a starter that's building up and is going to be a lot more capable of giving us 160, 165 next year, and doing that pretty easily. So I could see where it makes sense. I think it is definitely more of a move for 2025 than 2024, even though it helps. But I think the big outcome would be the following year to see what he does in that rotation and if he could put up these same numbers. Now, I do notice a gap in the years. Did he have a Tommy John surgery?
Yes.
Okay, so he had that, and now he's built up, and kind of like Louis Hill. It's almost like the same exact story.
It's almost the identical story.
And this is something that, again, I know you've been champion for a while. You told me a long time ago, and I was kind of shocked. You were like, yes, I would do Spencer Jones for him.
Yeah, I would do that. Spencer Jones is a phenomenal talent. We all got fooled by him going 106 pitches in spring training without swinging and missing, lowered the hand slot, but he's spent almost a full year in AA striking out well over 35% of the time.
Yeah. Well, that's why if you remember in the offseason, I personally didn't buy into the spring training numbers. I told everybody, wait until we see AA, because I want to see what he does there, because I know what that competition level is like. And I don't think me or Dane here are saying that Spencer Jones is going to be a bad player.
No, not at all.
It's definitely not that at all. I think Spencer Jones is looking, it has a chance to be a phenomenal player. And the reason why this makes sense is I think it's also a good sell for the White Sox. You know what I mean? I think it's a very, very good sell there for the White Sox to simply sit there and say, look at what we're getting back. This is big. This is really, really big.
If Spencer Jones lowers that strikeout rate to about 21, 22, 23%, he is a superstar in this league. But the chances of that happening, that's what you got to weigh. And when you can get a guy like Garrett Crochet that you can put in your front of your rotation for the next 3 years that solves the bullpen issue this year, that you're getting a sure thing, or as a sure thing as a pitcher gets in this day and age with all the injuries and all that.
Yeah.
Versus a project that you hope that will be ready maybe sometime next year, maybe the following year.
Yeah.
I make that trade all day, every day.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting to see exactly what happens there. Spencer Jones is going to be a popular name. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to want him. I took a lot of shit from fans in the offseason because once you bring up the idea that, I get the spring training numbers, I see all that, and because I was interested, of course, in trading Spencer Jones for Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease is fine. It's had multiple rough outings in a row. He's had multiple really good outings in a row now, and he's basically who Dylan Cease has been the last couple of years. You're kind of seeing the same exact shit from him. A lot of strikeouts. He gives up homers. He gets into bad funks, and he gets a little wild, but he takes the mound. And that's an important thing. That's what you're paying for, and you're paying for those multiple years. And, a lot of the fan base, I don't know if they should do that. I don't, you don't like the guy. It's never about disliking a talent. I think people need to understand that. It's never about disliking a player or I just don't like the guy. The fact of the matter is the New York Yankees as a whole need to win a World Series. Yep. We're looking to win a World Series here. I've always said I think Jason Dominguez is the better of the two. That's the guy I want to keep. I like Jason Dominguez. Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, if I ever had to sit there and say, all right, let's choose here, that's the guy I want. I want Jason Dominguez more than anybody. Yeah. I wouldn't be interested in if somebody came to me and goes, that's the deal, but you got to give it one of those two. Well, it's Spencer Jones all day. Dominguez to me is the guy you keep.
Yes.
That's the guy I'm moving. So
yeah, 100. I was very torn between the two at one time. But seeing what Dominguez did when he came back this year, I mean, the kid absolutely tore the cover off the ball before he got hurt. He's a big stage, bright lights player, and he is not somebody who's going to be afraid of the big moment. And New York is not going to bother him.
No, we know that, and we know that already 100%.
Yeah.
And the one thing too that you gotta add into all this stuff is New York it's strange, man. New York is tough when it comes to any type of deal because it's hard to measure who can handle New York. There are scouting out there because I remember when the Joey Gallo thing happened. And I reached out to Kevin Kernan about it. And Kevin Kernan, who worked for the New York Post for years, said flat out, he goes, look, he's not going to handle it in New York. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, this was a pure analytics move. He goes, because if you talk to scouts and advanced scouts and guys in Texas, they would tell you he's not a big lights guy. He doesn't like that. That's not who he is. So in New York, he would have to get on this unbelievable start, really get the fans. But once he faced adversity, it was over. That was it.
It was done.
I mean, the media picked up on all this stuff. The slightest little thing like, oh, the guy lays out all his uniform on the ground and he puts it on one at a time and all this shit. It's like, I never heard this shit in Texas. Yeah, because New York's a beast. New York is a different animal. It's crazy. The pinstripes are very heavy playing in New York. So you never know what you're going to get when you make these trades. They're toss-ups because you could get a guy like Garrett Crochet who's tearing it up in Chicago. He comes here and he goes, oh shit, this is different. You just never know. And it's not an easy job being a GM. I know a lot of us look at it and go, Cashman's ass, Cashman's this. And I get it. There's a lot of things to be upset about. But there's also some positives of players he's found. And at the end of the day, they just need to have a really, really good deadline. I mean, I'm not talking about 4 or 5 players. I'm probably talking about maybe 3 solid moves, and then you get some of these other guys back, and that's it.
I think that you can transform that lineup with Dominguez and Stanton coming back. I think that's your 2 big keys. And then you need Ben Rice or Austin Wells to hit like they are capable of. You add a Luis Rengifo and maybe a Jonathan India, either one of them at the top of the lineup who brings you a real leadoff hitter. I think you can change that lineup.
Yeah.
So what the lineup we're looking at now is not what we're going to see in the playoffs. And that's when the time is the most important, is the playoffs.
Correct. Exactly. And for me, I've got the moniker here, Pete Dombrowski. I would love to be involved in, or just, there doesn't seem like right now there's a lot of players available. Now, there was a recent report that they said they believe this week coming up, it's going to get a little active and start getting a little busy. There's also the connection to Jameson Taillon again, which I'm not a fan of. I'm not jumping up and down for joy to trade a couple of prospects for Jameson Taillon. I know he's having a good year for the Cubs.
You know what he's owed?
Yeah, I seen that connection today, and I'm just like, I don't think that really makes sense. I think if the Yankees are trading for anybody this year, it's Control. I think they're going to be targeting Control. Unless it's a reliever and things like that, that's a little different. But for me, the Yankees are gonna put a big focus on Control, and we've already heard a lot of those names. I would also be intrigued to see when a team like Tampa says they're gonna buy and sell. Who are they? Are they just looking to sell a few of the names we've heard about? Yandy Diaz, Isaac Paredes, Randy Rosarina, Pete Fairbanks. Who else could potentially be available on that team if there's certain players that they really wanted the Yankees? And the targets for them are going to be your Roderick Arias, your George Lombard, if they make big deals like that. I don't even know if the Yankees are even willing to consider something like that.
They have to be. You absolutely have to be this year, because there's no great team in baseball this year. And even if it costs you a George Lombard or a Roderick Arias to go get a great player, how many of these guys do we really think are going to impact the roster long term? Probably.
Well, you never know.
One,
Right. You really never know. You go based off talent, but sometimes there's no real tool to guarantee you somebody's going to be successful.
Right. And John Brophy, he and I have been speaking a lot lately, and he spoke to a scout in Tampa for the Rays that said their number 1 targets in all of baseball were Roderick Arias and George Lombard. They want them badly.
That makes sense.
Do you give up one of them if he brings you back a Paredes, even if you have to throw in an Augustine Ramirez?
If I had to, the guy I'm keeping. I'm a big fan of Roderick Arias. I've been a fan of his for a while. He's starting to hit really well, much better as of late. And he's a guy that, for me in this organization, I would try not to surrender. Yeah. And I know, even coming from me, a person who believes in the idea of championship every year, and I'm not letting a prospect stop that, but I do have a pool of guys that I'm very, very unwilling to deal. And for me, when I look at the Yankee system, there's only a couple of them. Roderick Arias is definitely one of those. Augustine Ramirez, to me, is one of those.
I would argue that.
Other than that, I don't have many other ones. I really don't. I don't have many. And I don't know a lot of the guys deeper into the system that have this big talent. I love Lalane, but I'll be honest with you, with arms, it's hard to trust. It's hard to believe that arm is going to last forever. And he has the body for it. He got everything else for it. But being Pete Dombrowski, if somebody tells me, hey, he's a few years away probably, and I'm sitting there going, fuck it, let's make the deal.
The thing with Augustine, I love the kid. Yeah. And until a couple weeks ago, I said he was one of my untouchables. Yeah. But you've had 2 players emerge in Uglith Urena and Eaglin Perez, both catchers. Okay. Both Uglith is an absolute monster. He is Augustine plus, and he's guaranteed to be a stick behind the plate. Eaglin Perez
I was just
is
gonna say,
quite.
what level is he at?
They are both in the FCL,
Okay.
but Urena has the kind of bat like Augustine does that he could go from A ball to AAA in 600 at bats, just like Augustine did. This is a kid that Baseball America has been praising for years and years and years, and he just hasn't been healthy. And now he's healthy. He's showing it. Strikeout rate's about 12%. The walk rate's about 16%. The hard hit percentage is through the roof. Carlos has got videos of him. If you guys haven't seen this kid, you got to go take a look at him because he is an absolute beast, has the same kind of helicopter finish as Augustine.
Yeah.
And he's a guaranteed catcher.
Yeah, and I think Augustine's name is going to get, thrown around a lot from many teams out there. But the only thing that would hold me up from trading him is I am still not fully sold on the catching at the major league level. I'm not fully sold on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been a big advocate of Austin Wells playing every day, but that's also because the Yankees just haven't done it. And they haven't allowed me to see the guy that I believe he could be. And I do believe he could be a good hitter. But the other thing, too, about Austin Wells is I feel like Austin Wells is a guy who it wouldn't necessarily shock me if he doesn't mature as quick as I'd want in the major leagues. And it also doesn't shock me because I don't know if the Yankees are going to ever fully commit. I can't trust them enough with stuff like that. So it worries me. But they have committed to a guy like Gary Sanchez, who you look at him and go, yeah, he's not the greatest defender, but the guy can hit a fucking ton. If Augustine can come up, get on a run, tear the cover off for the ball, be a 20-plus home run guy, even if he hits 240, 245 at the major league level, if that's something he can do, you sign me up for that every single day. I take that all the time. And even if he's an average, a slightly above average guy behind the plate, I sign myself up for that. That would be my only hesitation. That's my only hesitation.
And that's completely fair. I'm a big believer in Austin Wells. You've seen how the defense has improved. The one thing we've known about the kid from going back to when the Yankees first drafted him coming out of high school, they drafted him twice, just so everybody knows that, is he can hit. The one thing that he can do is hit, but he needs consistent at bats.
Agreed. I mean, I think that we all understand already is that they're just not. They obviously have. It feels like they've utilized him wrong. To be fair,
absolutely.
I mean, from the jump of the season, not playing, not starting him the way they should have, not getting the consistent at bats. I think everybody kind of saw that and said, yeah, this isn't right. This is not the way it should be going. And they never have really gave him the consistent time. That's why today I said he's getting it and he really needs to show something. He needs to go out there and really show something now. And he's had very good at bats. I think he had an 11 pitch at bat today, I want to say, or the other day.
11 or 12.
Yeah,
11 or
something
12
like that
today.
Today that was. And a couple of more. Tim says Jack Neely is a lefty. No, he is a righty.
No,
he's a right-handed pitcher, right-handed reliever. But it's gonna be very, very interesting. Let me ask you this: do you think the Yankees make what we would consider to be a major trade? If you had to make a prediction right now, do you think they make some sort of major trade that involves like a Spencer Jones or somebody like that? Really?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting.
I think they're going to go out and get one really big piece, whatever that is. I want it to be Crochet badly. That's the guy that I want. I think he's a difference maker for not only this year, but for the next 3 years. And I think that they're not only looking to build for this year, they're looking to, as you said earlier, they're looking to build past this year. And if you can put Crochet in the rotation with a Heel and a Cole, how many better rotate 1, 2, 3s are you going to find in all of baseball?
No, that's nasty for years to come. No doubt about it. My thing is, I hope they're able to add a leadoff hitter. I've said this for a while. I think third base is obvious. I think even the Yankees understand that. we got a problem on our hands with DJ. I think he's basically done.
Yeah.
I think they're even understanding that now. They don't need to wait for the voices of the fans to get loud. I think they can see it and recognize it. It's as clear as day.
Yeah.
I think they know that. I think Gleyber Torres is a guy that, maybe they've just sat back and they go, enough is enough with this guy. I'm tired of this. And I kind of almost feel like it's at that point because he's not having such a good year where you can even get the qualifying offer. So it's like, who gives a shit? Just who cares? Just whoever wants him. Just, and another thing too is, we talk about a lot. Well, shake up the team, fire Boone and this and that. We know they're not going to fire Boone. Another way you could shake up the clubhouse? Trade a guy like Gleyber Torres. Yeah, trade a guy like Gleyber Torres and bring a young kid up or bring a proven guy in that's done it before and stick him there and go, hey, so John Bertie comes back off the bench. I don't know. You figure all that mess out. But at the end of the day, maybe you sit there and you just go, look, it's a great sign to the clubhouse after that. Hey, man, why did that happen? Well, you don't play.
Exactly.
You don't play the right way. You don't play. And I think we've had enough conversations. And even as the GM of the club, I know you. I would love to be the GM of the Yankees and trade Gleyber Torres and go into that clubhouse.
I would too.
Anybody wondering why Gleyber's no longer here? Anybody? Seriously, that would literally be my man. I would walk right into the middle of that and I would say seriously, just like that. Anybody wondering why Gleyber's not here? Okay, didn't think so. And walk out. You don't even got to go into it. Everybody understands. They know. That's
and if you saw that the last 2 games, this team desperately needs a kick in the ass. They need they need something to wake them up. And maybe trading Gleyber Torres is that move.
They're too safe, Dane. They're too safe.
Yeah.
They play too safe.
They do.
They play so safe, man. Nothing is, again, there's always a tomorrow. There's always another day. They say it. They say it all the time. Well, there's, you got to come back tomorrow. Got to come back tomorrow. Look what we are in the standings. We got to come back tomorrow. What happens when tomorrow's done? And they're on their way to Cancun for, what about tomorrow? What happened? What happened to competing? Oh, okay.
And look, they've got to do something because this is still a winnable division. And without a great team, I mean, look what Arizona and Texas did. They barely got into the playoffs last year, and they both went to the World Series. It's about who gets hot at the right time. You put the right pieces in that lineup, in that bullpen, in that rotation. This team can still win because you have Juan Soto and Aaron Judge. But you got to put the right
baseball.
Absolutely. But you got to put the right pieces around them. And right now, they don't have the right pieces.
Agreed. I think that is I think that's very, very fair, very well stated. And again, man, we are less than about a week and a half away till that 24-hour stream. And again, guys, we start that very early in the morning, 7 a.m. 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. We'll be there the whole time. We'll have everything locked and ready to go for you guys. Whatever news we get. Last year, if you guys remember, what the hell was last year was a 24-hour stream. I'm trying to think. No, what was the year of Jordan Montgomery? That was 2022?
Yep.
2022. Right here on NYU. I broke that story at 10:30 in the morning.
Right.
10:30 in the morning. That didn't happen to the last couple of minutes of the deadline. That deal was taking place, and the Yankees had it kind of, on their side. And basically what they had an agreement. This happens a lot in trade days that people don't understand is they'll have agreements in place, but sometimes it's coordinated with an additional move. If that additional move doesn't happen, they pull it back. If it does happen, they do it or they don't do it. The Yankees decided that they were still going to go through with that trade after not getting Carlos Rodon, who they wanted during that
Pablo
same year.
Lopez was the other guy too.
And Pablo Lopez was the guy they tried to get. And it's funny because, throughout these years that you look back now, you go, man, there was some names that held up these deals, and you look around and go, damn, wish they did it now because
Oswald
really didn't work
Peraza.
out. Yeah, Peraza, Gleyber Torres affected some trades that they wouldn't do during certain times. So it's going to be interesting, but I do think I still kind of sit where I was before. I think it's a mix of external and internal. I think it's a mix of call-ups. I think it's a mix of some trades, and I think it is very fair to say that I don't think the Yankees got to go out there and make 5 or 6 moves externally. I think maybe they make 3 external moves with additional call-ups, guys coming back from the IL, and I do seriously believe you're looking at a much different roster.
Yeah. And it's all about whether they have the guts to make the right moves. If they make the right moves, this team can still win. As ugly as it is right now, there's still the talent on that roster and in that system that they can pull off enough trades where they can come back and get hot in the playoffs and win.
No, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, man. I believe you 150% of what you said. And it's going to be an interesting couple of days. It's going to be very,
Absolutely.
very interesting leading up to the trade deadline. I just hope it's something that we all could be very happy and be excited about. Do I think, because look, again, guys, and I say this a lot, we tell you the truth, or at least what we believe to be the truth. We don't sugarcoat it to have anybody feel, oh, cool, they're going along with what the narrative is and this and that, or somebody may take things out of context. Oh, this guy hates Aaron Boone, or this guy, this and that. We literally just sit here and tell you guys the truth. And trust me, come July 30th, I told you guys I'm going to wait. I'm going to give the Yankees the opportunity to make their moves, to show us what the team has a chance of looking like. And after that, I will make my judgments on the New York Yankees. But I am holding out hope. I'm holding out hope, Dane, that during that 24-hour stream, me and the guys are going to be really happy and excited and going, shit, let's fucking go. Let's get this damn season going. Maybe they do shake it up again with Glaber gone, and maybe Vivas is up. They got a new third baseman. They got a new look infield. And is that a little radical during the season? A little bit. But sometimes that radical kick in the ass is a bit needed. And
they
for this
need
club,
it right
it does
now.
kind of feel like it is needed.
Yeah. They desperately, desperately need a kick in the ass. And we know it's not going to come from Aaron Boone. So hopefully Cashman can do that by getting some of the pieces out that are not performing and bringing in some new pieces. And the biggest upgrades are going to be the ones you're getting back from injury and internal.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that can go on right now. You're right about that, is getting some of these guys back. We do hear that, just a quick update on this. I don't think Brubaker is going to be back. It looks like he had a setback and he may not be available this year. Efros pitched another solid inning today, so it looks like he's really getting ramped up to make his impact at the major league level. Tommy Kahnle was throwing 96, 97 again. That was a welcome sight. That's really, really big because can't keep going, change up, the 93 mile an hour fastball. It just,
right.
It doesn't work like that anymore. So
Ian Hamilton's coming back, and Nick Birdie has resumed throwing.
Yeah, he's throwing actual BPs and all that too. So he's doing live pitching to batters and simulated games. So Nick Birdie should be back pretty damn soon. And there's a lot of arms in that pen. And let's not forget, like I said during game season, I know nobody wants to hear this, but sometimes you got to tip your cap because Tonkin has been amazing.
Yeah.
Cousins, he gave the 2-run homer today, but he's been pretty damn solid for the Yankees. And then also Tim Hill has been the best lefty we have really coming out of the bullpen since he got here. So there are some times of players being found. And do I think all those guys are going to last? Maybe not. But for the time being, they've done a decent job. But there are a shit ton of arms that the Yankees could add and move on with this year.
Another kid I want to bring up real quick is Will Warren is starting to look like Will Warren again. He had a 9 strikeout game last night or 2 nights ago. And that's a kid that could fill a lot of roles. He could either help you out in the rotation or he can pare down his stuff. He pitched to an 0.96 ERA in like 4 or 5 relief appearances last year. With that kind of sweeper, 2-seam and changeup, he can get outs in any situation. That might be another arm that you could count on.
No doubt about it. Sorry, I was just reading some pretty sad news right here. Omar Manaya's wife was found dead in their New Jersey home. So very, very sad thing for the Minaya family. I just wanted to share that.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a horrible thing right there. Rachel Minaya, wife of Yankees executive Omar, found dead in their New Jersey home. So of course, condolences to the Minaya family. Looks like this may be recently breaking news here, but Minaya, of course, one of the best scouts in baseball history, actually. A lot of people say one of the better scouts out there, and a guy that could be in contention if the Yankees ever do move on from Brian Cashman. So we're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap this show up right here. Dane, do you have any final things you want to leave the show with?
Yeah. You're going to hear a lot of rumors in the next few weeks or next 10 days. Just be patient. The Yankees will make moves, and let's judge them August 1st before we get too wound up, because this team should look completely different on that day.
Yeah. Are they off on July 31st?
Oh, I was thinking the trade deadline was August 3rd. It was July. You know what I meant.
I had to do that. But no, they play the Phillies that day. We'll have that game on Game Season Live too, guys. We're doing actually, so me, Mario, Kev, Francis, and Jira will be all together on the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, and then we leave on the 1st. So we'll be good there. DJ Steels with the super chat. He goes, Omar, God. Oh, man, too soon. Anyways, condolences. Why does he got to leave the show that way? My goodness.
It's Stelio.
It's unbelievable. This guy's he's unbelievable. Throw the tomatoes in the chat. Hit him with tomatoes, damn it. Unbelievable. Well, guys, Francis is going to be back next week. He just had a little situation that he thought he would be back in time, wasn't able to, and that's understandable. Thank you, Dane, again, for coming on today on very, very short notice, by the way. So I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
The Scotto, you know, him and Horwitz and Steels, they got a little back and forth going on.
Yeah.
You know, September 14th. I don't know, man. It could get wild in there with those two. I'm just saying. But anyway, guys, much love to each and every one of you. Reminder. There is no All Rise tomorrow because the game's at 1. So there is not going to be an All Rise tomorrow morning. We're going right into Game Season Live and doing our thing like we always do. So, guys, with that being said, much love to each and every one of you. And we will catch you guys again next week. Peace out, guys. Talk to you later.
It's heavy. Famous love. Yeah, I gotta keep it trendy on my soul. I'm the most selfish person that I know. Here we go down the rabbit hole. Got a couple carrots around my neck. Self-respect. When you out of line, you put yourself in check. They don't hear me. They don't hear me though. Cycles going round and round like a merry-go. Stand for truth or fall for any old scenario. That's why I keep my circle smaller than a Cheerio. Cause it's the company you keep. Stay woke. Don't get caught sleep. End up sowing what you reap. Know your worth and don't sell cheap. The ghost is inside of me. Can't take it out of me.